How the Supreme Court could change the FDA's ability to issue abortion pills. The fall of the famous landmark and who it affected. An insight on the discoveries found on the former record producer.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Avery Callens.
And I'm Grace Escobar. The fate of the most widely used abortion medication in the country is now in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. The 9 justices heard 90 minutes of arguments today in a lawsuit against the Food and Drug Administration, challenging their right to make it easier to buy the medication. CNN's Ailey Kiley has more from Washington.
Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Today, the justices hearing oral arguments about mifepristone. The plaintiffs and their supporters argue the FDA broke the law by letting patients get it through telehealth and the mail.
Just because you are sitting in California does not mean that you are not violating the laws of Florida, Texas, and 30 other states.
Laws do vary by state. New York actively protects doctors who send mifepristone to places that ban it.
First month, we sent about 4,000 pills into restricted states, and now we're up to around 10,000 pills a month.
The study shows nearly 1 in 10 abortions in the first 6 months post-Dobbs involved telehealth and mifepristone. The drug is one reason abortions actually increased after that ruling. Pills now account for almost 2/3 of U.S. abortions. Providers say buried in those statistics are stories of people who want to give birth but suffer health complications. They argue obstacles to abortion put them at risk.
Those delays are really scary for an OBGYN. Things tend to go bad quickly.
Some drug makers say they worry the case could set a precedent for more legal challenges to FDA approvals. They say that uncertainty could reduce investments in other types of new drugs. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
UNT professor Matthew Esposito has been following the case and says this is an unusual situation.
Okay, hear it because you haven't been harmed by this.
The Supreme Court will make the final decision on this case in July.
A tragic event has hit Maryland and it has left much heartbreak for the city. Baltimore authorities are still searching for possible survivors of the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Officials say there were at least 8 people and a number of vehicles on the bridge at the time. CNN's Michael Yoshida has the update. Within the upcoming 24 hours, the National Transportation Safety Board said that they will get the ship's voyage data recorder.
The last few days, it has been colder than I would like for spring weather.
Yes, I cannot wait for the warm weather to come back. Let's go ahead and check with our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, to see if she can tell us when we'll be getting the warm weather again soon. Kayla?
I will have to agree. I am tired of saying it's finally spring and then back again, it is not. Right now in North Texas, it is 58 degrees Fahrenheit, feeling a little bit chillier at 56 with wind speeds at 8 miles per hour. We are seeing clear skies, which will continue to tonight. It's going to be 47 degrees, feeling like 46, and wind speeds will slow down to 3 miles per hour. Now tomorrow, it's going to cool down. It's going to be 48 degrees, feeling like 44, and wind speeds will pick back up to 8 miles per hour. We will also see some clouds, which will indicate this week's weather. That's all I have for now. Be sure to stay tuned for this week's full weather.
Thank you, Kayla. Governor Greg Abbott launched the Texas Space Commission from NASA's Johnson Space Center. This will cement Texas' position as a national leader in the space industry and will secure its future in the space exploration and development for the next generations of Texans. Abbott says he looks forward to working with the Texas Space Commission and that Texas is the launch pad for Mars, innovating the technology that will colonize humanity's first new planet. Our Texas governor says that one thing is clear: for those who reach for the stars, do so from the great state of Texas.
While Texas is testing in space, UNT will be testing here on Earth. Our live reporter Matthew Winter has more on the story. Matthew?
Thanks, Avery. If you're like me and you've driven past Discovery Park and wondered, what is that large net surrounding that empty field? Well, wonder no more. UNT has announced it's the largest unmanned vehicle testing facility here in Texas, located at our very own engineering campus. The university's Advanced Air Mobility Facility, or UAAM, is an outdoor netted drone facility that is going to focus on UAV research. The net is there to keep the technology and scientists safe from any potential hazards that arise while testing. Testing is open to both students and faculty. Some of the research projects planned are new drone parts, collision avoidance, and communication between UAV and ground vehicles. The large size of the facility also lets researchers test signal strength from multiple areas. UNT researchers say that drones are expected to take off with endless possibilities, from air ambulances, freight delivery, and even reception transmitters to areas affected by disasters. UNT is also teaming up with government agencies and organizations to be the leader in safe drone use. Some testing even started this week. Sadly, I can't go fly some drones around as you do need a license. However, I will keep updated on all the cool new advancements. Thanks. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Matt. Coming up next, what we know about the house raids and allegations linked to former music producer P Diddy.
And the latest on Attorney General Ken Paxton's criminal charges, next on ntTV News.
Look up here. 1, 2, 3.
Mom, Dad, I got it.
You're right, Mom. I have.
Has this ever happened to you?
My bike! My bike is gone!
Stolen bikes are an epidemic sweeping college campuses across America.
What am I supposed to do?
It's quite simple. The We Mean Green Fund has partnered with the UNT Police Department to offer free bike locks to any UNT student with a bike. Just show up with your bike in tow and ask.
Now I'll never lose my bike ever again.
Enough worrying. Get your bike lock today.
American rapper Sean Combs, also known as P Diddy, was escorted out of his home by federal agents and the SWAT team at gunpoint. Yesterday, both houses in Los Angeles and Miami were raided. A search warrant identified sex trafficking allegations associated with the hip-hop star. The agents were authorized to search for documents, phones, computers, and other electronic devices that hold data and/or videos. It is also known that agents were preceding paperwork on card tables outside of the Miami home. Law enforcement says that this is still an ongoing investigation and that there will be updates soon.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has reached a deal to get out of his criminal charges. Paxton was originally charged with almost 9 years ago with security fraud, and this deal comes just weeks before he was set to stand on trial. On those charges, Paxton was charged with failing to tell potential investors that he was being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to promote the new stock of a technology company. That company that was paying Paxton for the work he did, but he did not register with the Texas State Securities Board. In exchange, the charges for being dropped, Paxton must pay $271,000 in compensation from his own pocket, perform community service, and take legal education classes. Special prosecutors will track Paxton for the next 18 months to make sure he is sticking with these terms.
Grace, I don't know about you, but the wind and my hair have not been getting along lately.
Yes, I'm not a fan of the wind, and it makes it so much colder out. But hopefully our weather anchor, Kayla Bumpus, has some good news for us about the upcoming weather. Kayla?
Thanks, girls. Unfortunately, I don't have any good news regarding warm weather for this week, maybe next week. Right now in the North Texas area, we're seeing pretty similar temperatures. Up in Amarillo, it is 53 degrees. Over in El Paso, it's 57. In Abilene, it is 61. In Austin, it's a little bit warmer at 68. Across the state, we're seeing pretty much the same. A little bit warmer in Houston at 70 degrees. Block in Houston. In Gainesville, 55. In Bowie, 54. Graham, 58. Decatur, 56. Fort Worth, 57. Let's take a look at this week's forecast. This week, we are starting off with a few clouds that will indicate the remainder of the week. A high of 63 and a low of 40 on Wednesday. Thursday, a high of 72, a low of 54. Friday, we will be beginning to see some more of those clouds, a high of 75, a low of 58. Saturday, a high of 80, a low of 62. Sunday, we will see total clouds, a high of 80, a low of 65. Monday, a high of 82, a low of 55. Tuesday, those clouds will begin to clear up with a high of 60 and a low of 45. That's all I have for you guys this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Kayla. Springtime means that baseball season is here, and many people celebrate opening day in various different ways. However, Louisville Slugger, a company synonymous with baseball, is celebrating opening day by unveiling a new exhibit. Sam Carter has more on the story.
On Thursday, Major League Baseball will celebrate its 147th opening day. For the folks at the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, like marketing director Andrew Soliday, this is a rite of spring.
It's a lot of excitement for us. Spring is in the air, trees are in bloom again.
This opening day carries a greater significance than most for the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, as it marks the 140th anniversary of the iconic Louisville Slugger baseball bat. To celebrate, the museum and factory are opening a new exhibit chronicling the rich history of the bat and its role in the national pastime.
It dives into the kind of differences, the details, and just the subtle nuances between all of these bats that have been used throughout history. And we really just try to draw that parallel of just the unique connection that not only players, but really everyone has to this American icon.
On Thursday, when players league-wide are swinging these bats for the first official time of the year, the museum will be throwing itself a bit of a birthday party. For Saladay, it's an opportunity for people to reconnect not just with baseball, but with each other and perhaps themselves.
And whether you played it or you watched it, everyone's going to have that memory, that attachment to it that's going to be unique.
Coming up next, an ntTV exclusive interview with UNT's vice president candidates.
And a new way to get your donut cravings satisfied at the most well-known fast food chains. Stay tuned.
Good evening, my name is Amanda Hasbell and I'm joining you here today in the Union parking garage. Today we're going to be going over how to drive safely in the parking garage. Let's go see. Oh my god, this girl just got hit by a car. Let's go see what happened. Ma'am, are you okay? Did you see that lady hit me with a car? Yeah, we did. I got it all on video. Oh my god. Let's go over here and talk about how we can prevent that. Yeah, not the hospital. Well, right now we're going to ask you a couple questions on how we can drive safely in the parking lot. What are ways that we can be aware of our surroundings?
Oh, we can look both ways.
Jenna, also, how about putting the distractions away?
Yes, just like our phones, turning our music down, and also not focusing on our passengers.
where can you get information on how to get a parking pass?
Transportation.unt.edu.
If you park in a garage, make sure you pay on the app or look for further instructions on how you should pay.
And remember, no pass, no park. Let's all try to keep our mean green community safe.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Drive safe.
The man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Hey Alex, this guy on the internet says he wants to give me money.
That sounds suspicious.
What do you mean?
Typically, strangers who promise you money on the internet have their own best interest in mind. They often use bounced checks, which will disappear shortly after depositing, but not before they've asked for some money in return.
So he doesn't really want to spoil me?
No.
Well, then what should I do?
The best way to handle it is to block and report the suspicious message, or even consult local law enforcement if you've already fallen victim.
So I guess we aren't going to Key West for spring break?
No.
Photography can be a way to express yourself and be creative. For Kate Jankowsko, it's also a career. Here's a look at the freshman photojournalist and her journey through concert photography.
For some, photography is a hobby. For Kate Jankowsko, it's a passion and career.
I was at the barricade at a Smashing Pumpkins concert, and I saw a girl who looked close to my age, so I tapped her on the shoulder, and she was in the photo pit, and I basically just asked her what she did to get there. She directed me to her media team, and I submitted an application, and now I'm working at Off Record Blog as a photojournalist.
At each concert, Kate takes from 500 to 2,000 photos. She then edits the photos, looking for good shots and something that excites her.
When I look at the photo and I'm smiling, I scroll through the photos, and you can kind of tell when something is super duper crisp. It's freezing perfectly in time. I think it's just, you kind of have an eye for, what feels the most real in that moment, what feels the most exciting. The energy in the photo is really important for me, just kind of looking at it like, what photo excites me the most, what makes me feel the most emotion when I look at it. And usually when I'm scrolling through it, it will bring me a smile, or it'll be like a boost of serotonin for me when I see that photo.
In April, Kate is planning to shoot 7 concerts, including the Foo Fighters and Malcolm Todd. Well, it seems as if we just had an election, and that fact is quite true, but this one hits a little closer to home. Elections for the student government opened yesterday online. Yesterday, we talked with the SGA election commissioner. Tonight, we begin a 2-part series of live interviews. We begin with the 2 people who want to be your new vice president, Jaden Watkins and Cole Little. Let's go to the ntTV lobby where Avery Callens is with the candidates. Avery.
Thanks, Grace. I am here with 2 of the Student Government Association Vice President candidates, Cole and Jaden. And I'm just going to ask you guys a couple of questions about how you're looking to better UNT. So my first question for you guys is, how do you see yourself serving the UNT community if you're voted Vice President? Jaden, I can start with you.
I see myself supporting the UNT community just by being there. I want people to know me, people to be able to walk into my office and just be like, hey, this is a problem that I'm having. How can you fix it? I want to tell them step by step how we're going to fix it. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that we are available, me and my running mate.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome. What about you, Cole?
I definitely see it as being a lot more involved within the student government and a lot more involved within the student community. Having student government go out to the students and to really get not only like their voices to be heard, but to really serve them not only ethnically diversically, but in their majors, their colleges, and their career interests.
And in what ways are you doing that? I know you've talked to me earlier about how you're reaching out to student organizations, trying to get them more involved. How are you guys working with that, Cole?
So one of the things that student government is looking at doing a lot is we're trying to get more senators and executive members into these student org meetings so that way we can partner more with them, so that way they can establish ways of contact within the student government to build way more rapport within the students, because we think that it starts with where students are engaged of student orgs, and then it goes down to the individual students.
Yeah, and you said you wanting to connect with students a lot more. How do you plan on doing that, getting that face-to-face connection?
Me and my running mate always say we want to be in these student org events. We want to be in their meetings. We want to have meetings with student org presidents and their exec boards and just know what's going on and what they're doing and just hear out their people, because we have so many diversity organizations on campus and so many different arrays of aspects that people go through, and so we want to make sure that we're hearing all of them by being there.
And that is so important. It's so awesome to hear how you guys are wanting to reach out to students in different ways and work with them. Speaking of which, what are 2 key issues that you guys would focus on if you were elected into the vice president position? Jaden, we can start with you again.
I would say food insecurity is one of our biggest things. We have so many initiatives on it, and just finding ways to give better transportation services for the students in whatever way that we can. We really just want to work on those 2 things really to help the students.
Yeah, and Cole, what about you?
I think that for the Change platform, it's going to be student engagement and initiative within students. A lot of students have trouble not only feeling engaged and having a campus like on life, but we wanted to have like student service programs to where they could volunteer more. And then the second issue that we want to tackle is student retainment. We know that a lot of students don't necessarily finish their degree at UNT, and so we wanted to look for more ways that the student government could contribute to student retainment.
Awesome. And if I were the president right now, and if it was just up to me for you guys to be elected into office, what would you guys say? Jaden, we can go with you.
Please elect.
I guess that's so valid.
Give you our whole platform and just be like, we want to do this, this, and this, and this,
yes.
and this, and show you all of our little like work that we put into it. Just, we want you to hear us out. Give us a chance. Yeah.
Awesome. Cole, what about you?
I just would say that we want students to be engaged, and so please go vote.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Grace, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Avery. Well, Gabby Pippins is on deck, so that means it's time for sports, and baseball is in the air. Gabby, what do you have for us?
That's right, Grace. The Rangers, I feel like they're going to be better than ever this season. I'll have more on that, the NFL's rule changes, and our Dallas Mavs right after this.
Now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector.
No, you're
it will
good. be
so hard for us to part.
I just kind of see it in my peripheral.
But, my love, what did I do?
Yeah.
I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be to someone else in a better place.
You're gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
The do's and don'ts of the Pole Rec Center. See that man over there? Please do not hog weights. Instead, do this. Another important part is having an attentive spotter. See, here is an example of a non-attentive spotter. Instead, do this. Now we head to the track, which should be pretty easy, just it's important to pay attention to the way the track goes. Remember to wipe down the equipment after you're done using it. The towels are provided by the gym, so it's pretty easy to wipe down the equipment when you are done. Thank you for using the Pole Recreation Center.
from the hip drop tackle being banned to a new kickoff formation, the NFL has been pretty busy making changes. They started last night and fans are having mixed feelings. One of the more recent changes pushes the trade deadline back a whole week. It went from the Tuesday after week 8 to the Tuesday after week 9, and the NFL claims this centers the deadline around the 17-game season. Another announcement involves their schedule. The NFL will have 2 games on Christmas Day this year, despite it being on a Wednesday. Last Christmas, though, the Ravens-49ers game had over 27 million viewers, making it the second most watched Monday Night Football game since 1996. Now, keep in mind, these are just a few of the NFL changes, and I'm sure there's more to come before the next season begins. And the Dallas Mavericks took on the Utah Jazz last night in their second straight matchup. Dallas beat them in their previous game 113-97, with fans hoping for a repeat performance. And Luka and Kyrie didn't disappoint. Lauri Markkanen had a strong first-half performance and led Utah to a 5-point halftime lead, but it wasn't enough to stop this dynamic duo. Luka and Kyrie put things into overdrive to tie the game at 88 going into the fourth quarter. Colin Sexton made a crucial 3 to regain the Jazz lead with about 10 minutes left, but the Mavs, they responded with a 16-2 run. Dallas won 115-105, and Luka got, of course, another triple-double with 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists, plus 1 steal and 1 block. And finally, baseball season is right around the corner, and the Texas Rangers are preparing to defend their World Series title. They've got some new additions to their roster that fans are really excited for. Top prospect Wyatt Langford has already gotten hot during the spring training games with a total of 21 hits, 6 home runs, and 20 RBIs. Relief pitcher Kirby Yates has also joined the Rangers. He was an all-star closer for the Padres in 2019 and just had a successful season in Atlanta with a 328 ERA and a 1.193 WHIP. Be sure to support Texas Thursday in their season opener against the Chicago Cubs in Arlington. And hey, who knows? We may get a repeat of last year with this team. That's all I've got for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. All this talk about sports has got me working a sweat and an appetite. What about you, Grace?
Yes, I was thinking the same exact thing. I could for sure go for something sweet.
I don't know. I was thinking something a little bit salty, but I've heard that Krispy Kreme and McDonald's are collabing on a new product. Krispy Kreme is bringing in their original glaze with 2 types of chocolate ice cream donuts, one with sprinkles and one with the cream filling. McDonald's and Krispy Kreme tested 160 restaurants in Kentucky by adding a donut to the breakfast order. They will phase in rollouts and be sold individually by half a dozen nationwide. By late 2026, all participating restaurants will have those donuts ready and when you arrive to McDonald's. Now, name something more American than that.
That's it. I mean, that's the perfect snack for any day.
Yes.
That concludes tonight's segment. Thank you for tuning in with us on ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow noon and tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.